Okay, cool. So basically what I wanted to do with you quickly is I've got my 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 half scale sleeve traced out, and I wanted to just quickly show you I think two adaptions I just wanted to show you. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a lantern sleeve, and I want you guys to check out the PDFs. I want you to use the PDFs that I sent you to do the construction of your different sleeve styles, because I need you to do 4 different sleeve styles for your submission. So I want you to check out the PDFs marked styled sleeves. So what I'm going to do now is I've got my sleeve here. This is a long sleeve. This is your long sleeve. You're supposed to have this as well, as you did for your previous project. So this is just a basic marked out one. So I'm going to just shorten this really quickly. Let's shorten it. I'm going to shorten it from the side seams. How much is that? 14? Yeah, 14. Like that and like that. 14 centimeters there and there. As you can see, I've got my back pitch. This is my back pitch. You can mark it back pitch. You can mark this front pitch, so that you can know, especially when you stitch your garment together. This is we're going to ignore now. And then what I'm going to do is, if you follow on in your book, you can actually see how a lantern sleeve is made. I'm going to make this out of my head. I'm going to make, you have to, say for example, we're going to slash it from here until about here, right? So I want you to, and you want to measure from, this is this middle of your sleeve, and I want you to measure and then divide it by, let's say 3. I'm just going to make mine rough. Let's say we're doing a, let's do one there, and then let's do one here. It might not be even, but I would like for yours to be even. So if you measure from here to here, and then you take that number and you divide it by, say 3 or say 4. It really depends on you how many slash lines you want in there. Let's do another one. Let's do that. So, and let's do that. Okay, so mine's really rough. So let me cut this off. Okay, let's take that away. So a lantern sleeve is both flared here, and this is your wrist, and it's flared that way as well. So you actually have to cut a line there, and it's flared this way and it's flared that way. So I'm going to measure. The half of 14 is 7. So there, and let's go there. 7 is there. And then I'm going to make a line. Very, very important. Always mark your, always mark what it is, because how will I know if I take this pattern from you and I cut it? Always vital. Always mark what this is. This is the wrist, right? This is the wrist. So I will now know that when you give me this pattern, that this is not the part that must be stitched to that. This part must be stitched to that. So I'm going to cut it out. Okay. And I'm going to cut it out. So be very careful how you cut your sleeves out, please. It's one of the worst things is to see a badly cut pattern. Right, now I've got my pattern cut out. I remember that this marking over here is center front, And now I'm going to cut it open. Right, so now we are here. Right? Always remember that even when your pattern is cut and spread, that it needs to be cut into, it needs to have a straight of grain. When you cut into something like this, oops, is it visible from your end? Okay, I'm going to start with the top of the sleeve. So I'm going to cut into the slash lines like so. Not till the very end, you have to leave a little piece so that you can actually have a little bit of a hinge to spread on. So you can see the spreading is happening over here. Okay, so I'm cutting into it. Okay. So now you can see, remember, it's very important to know where front pitch is, where back pitch is, so that you don't stitch the back into your front and your front into your back. It's very important that you know. So instead of, let me do this quickly. So you need to be very precise when you spread something, because if you spread something by hand like this, and this is maybe 3 centimeters wide, and here it's perhaps 1 centimeter wide like this, you'll have more fullness over here and you'll have less fullness over there. So it's very important that you know and you keep track of how you spread your, especially your sleeves and even your dresses. So very, very important. So I'm starting over here. This is my starting point. I'm just using pins. You need to use your sellotape so that once you spread it out properly, you add your seam allowance and then you cut that out. So this is, let's make it a 2 centimeter gap between each slash. So I'm moving that there. That's 2 centimeters. I put my pin in. And I measure it again. I'm going to measure it again. I'm going to go from the inside of that line, of the slash line, I put a 2 centimeter marking, which is there. And I take my slash line and I move it to the edge. And I put my pin in. And I go along. And I say 2 centimeters over there, like that. And I move my pattern and I put my pin in again. And I want to go through this with you because I don't want you to get confused as to how slashing works. It's very important that you know how slashing works. 2 centimeter mark there, and I put my pin in like so. Okay, it's very, very important that your slash lines are the same distance from each other. Very important. Put my slash line down there. Okay, measure, put my pin in, turn, move it, position it. Okay, got my pin there, and I put my pin in, and I put my pin in. So now my pattern is spread in its entirety. So now exactly the same process will take place here, and I'm going to cut into it exactly like I did the top part, right? Okay, so like so, and you do exactly, if you measure 2 centimeters gap between each one as it is here, you do exactly the same, spreading 2 centimeters, 2 centimeters, 2 centimeters between each one over here. Once you've got this spread out and you've got it taped down, you make sure that you add that you place it down on another piece of pattern paper and fill the line in between like so, and then you trace it out on another piece of paper and you add your seam allowance. Make sure that your straight of grain is there, that your labeling is there, that your back pitch and your front pitch is there, so that you can know where everything is. Because if I mark this and I don't see it, I will mark it down. So this is how I would want your pattern to be. Please make sure that you follow correctly.